Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Hawk 12. It's a Tier 8 German light tank. It's located on the north spawn of Siegfried Line under the command of Picklefish44. Well, the game started and Picklefish is off. Now, this is a rather unusual tank, mainly because it was originally designed as an armed personnel carrier, not as a light tank. Although they did actually go ahead and design a light tank based on the armored personnel carrier later on, and they were going to build two, but they didn't actually go ahead. Design in blueprints only. Now, the original reason why the vehicle was actually built was as an armored personnel carrier for the Mexican forces. It was an export armored personnel carrier, and the firm that originally it was going to be designed with was a joint product between Sedena, S-E-D-E-N-A, which is apparently the Mexican Ministry of Defense, and HWK Technique GmbH. So that's where the HWK comes from, the HWK Technique. Originally, apparently, they built 12 of these in Germany in 1964, and the other 28 were actually built in Mexico. So it was a joint project, I should say, with two factories, one in Germany and one in Mexico. But of course, that was for the armored personnel carrier, not for the light tank we see here. Now, it's armed with a 90mm gun, capable of 240 alpha, and it'll penetrate 180mm of armor with the standard rounds, and with the premium rounds it can go through 250mm of armor, and that's heat ammunition. Now, it's not particularly fast, 65 kilometers an hour, which isn't hugely fast compared to, say, something like the Black Dog. This is a Tier 8 tank, and the Black Dog is a premium Tier 8, and that is very capable. He's found his first victim. Okay, the Lorraine is successfully dodging our shells, but oh, this is one of the problems with this tank. It really is diabolically slow shells. They're incredibly slow, 630 meters per second, which means that you really do have to aim ahead of the target, otherwise you've virtually no chance of hitting it, especially if the target's moving. If the target's stationary, it's a little easier, but if the target moves at all, well, you have to guess where it's going to be. Either that or get close. It does have fairly good alpha damage. A 90mm round should do about 240. You see, so slow, such a long distance away. No chance of hitting the target. It does have a reasonably good view range though, 410 meters, which is acceptable. Oh, he should be able to hit that T69. Well, I said he should be able to, but he didn't. But he should be able to hit this TS5. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. Yes, he got the rear of him. And yes, he wasn't moving. He's a very slow moving target at T69. Or TS5, rather. Well, he got the TS69. The TS69 isn't a slow moving target. I got that wrong. It's a reasonably good medium tank, but there, unfortunately, he hit the wrong spot. He's firing heat rounds at the moment, which should go straight through, but of course, yes, he's got that slow shell to work with. Should be able to hit it this time, surely. Yes. So he's got 2 kills in the game so far, but only by virtue of the fact he fired an awful lot of ammunition to get them. It does have some other good parts to it. It's got 50 rounds of ammunition, which is a lot for a light tank. Oh, he just took another kill, and it was a 7032 there, but he just got spotted by a Batchat 12 ton. So they know where he is, but the Batchat 12 ton was taken out, and in fact they've got a 3 tank advantage in this game. He's actually doing rather well to get this far forward. Oh, now who did he spot over there? He was in tunnel vision mode, you might say. By going into sniper mode so close to the target, you miss out on what it is. It's the Lorraine 15550. Lorraine 15551 that he fired at earlier, but this time around he killed the guy. He did take a huge amount of damage early in the game, so just one shot was all that was needed. Ooh, Ferdinand and the Turtle together. Both of these are very deadly tank destroyers, but he's actually playing with them. He shouldn't really be doing that. It's a bit dangerous, but he'll probably get the kill. Yes, he does get the Turtle. Can he get the Ferdinand as well? Well, the guy's not looking in this direction, which could actually work out very bad for the Ferdinand, but he was waiting for the Ferdinand to actually go down to a low enough hit points, and he doesn't take the kill because that goes to a Lerva instead. But that is the end of the battle. Well, despite having a lot of trouble with the gun and the shell velocity, and he had to fire a lot of rounds to get some hits, he actually got an ace tanker out of that one, Picklefish. He also managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, and that's mainly because he was behind enemy lines, and of course he had that great view range, which meant that he could spot the enemy for his teammates. He also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He actually ended up with 5, just one short of getting a top gun, and 1/3 of the enemy team, as well as a fire effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. On top of that, he also picked up a patrol duty medal, which is a battle hero medal, and that's for only being the only one spotting 6 enemy tanks, whilst they were damaged. And also 2,615 on the win rate, which is Unicum standard. Not super Unicum, but it's close. And let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. No, that went to the Picklefish44 on his own team, but he didn't get a high caliber. That guy only got 3,486 hit points of damage. Second highest damage went to an AMBT. 2,808 went to him. And the third highest damage actually went to the Baraska on his own team, who got 2,426, and he got a Confederate in that game. Picklefish, as I said, got the patrol duty, but he's way down the table with 1,111 hit points of damage, matching the Skoda T56 on his team. But of course, there's a big difference in the number of kills, and I think you can see that when I look at this table here, because now he's got 5 kills, which puts him right at the top of the table. 4 kills went to the Progetto, who had the highest damage, and 2 kills went to the Lerva on his own team, and also to the 7032 that he actually killed. At least I think he killed that one. The AMBT as well on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, because he was doing all of that spotting, a huge amount of spotting, he got 1,216. The second highest was the Picklefish44 with 1,180. And the third highest was the AMBT with 892. So only 2 players managed to get over 1,000. So he's got the top on that one too. 2 out of 3 isn't bad in this sense. And yes, he's one of only 2 who've actually managed to get over 1,000 in the game. So he was definitely playing well. He only fired 15 rounds in total, but a lot of those missed. 9 direct hits on the enemy, 7 penetrations. Sometimes he wasn't hitting the tanks in the right spot. He was actually trying to go through the sides of the track. You really do have to estimate where you can actually fire the round in if you wanted to get it hit the vehicle. And that means a lot of guessing as to where the enemy vehicle is going to be next. 1,111 hit points of damage, of which 669 were at more than 300 meters. He damaged or spotted 5 of the enemy, damaged 6 of the enemy, killed 5, and did 3,516 hit points of spotting assists in that game. On a premium count, he earned 39,645 credits for the battle, 19,823 from personal reserves, same again for mission completion, 79,291 altogether, and after ammunition resupply, only 13,291 credits. And the main reason for that was, of course, he was using mostly premium ammo to get the pen. And unfortunately, that really cost him in this game, but he still made a profit anyway. 1,824 XP, 8,208 for mission completion, and 912 from personal reserves, took away 10,944 experience points altogether. So a good game for Picklefish44, but not the only one he sent in. Yes, this one was sent in just after Christmas. It's actually Boxing Day here. It's showing that he sent it in. But he has sent us another one since, so let's have a look at that replay right now. The second replay is on the north spawn of Malinovka. Game on. Now there is one really bad thing about the Hawk 12, and that's its armor. It is absolutely diabolical. The heaviest armor on the front of the vehicle, on the front of the turret, is only 15 millimeters. And, well, the lightest armor is only 10 millimeters on the sides and the rear of the turret. The hull of the tank actually only has 14.5 millimeters. So just about any shell that hits this vehicle is going to do serious damage. Picklefish has decided to go spotting right in the center, which is probably a good idea because you do spot a lot of the enemy tanks and allow your teammates to pick up spotting damage. He's already collected 660 already. Another bad thing is the fact that it actually is quite a tall tank, and that's down to the fact that, of course, it's based on an armoured personnel carrier with the turret slapped on top, which makes it kind of tall because an armoured personnel carrier has to have enough room for the crew to actually, or the troops inside, to actually be sitting on their seats. And that means that, yes, the hull itself can't be that low. It means that it's quite tall, and that makes the camo worse. It also lacks an improved HE shells. As you know, many German tanks, like the Black Dog, the M41 GF, actually do have an improved HE shell, which has got better penetration and means that it's slightly better actually to use the HE than it is to use armor piercing. You should get more damage on some of the enemy tanks. The problem with the HE on the Hawk 12 is that it doesn't have that improved pen. It only has 45 millimeters of pen, which is way down on the armor piercing pen of 180. And as well, you only get 320 if you get a full pen value. That's the alpha. So it's not as high as you'd expect. Because of course the average of the armor piercing is 240. Now he went past that gap there. He almost got to the point where he might get spotted. He was very careful not to go across the gap when the Vipera on the enemy team moved through the open there. Now the worry I think he's got now is that Vipera might decide to actually move, and if he does he could get spotted. So he's actually moving further along without getting spotted at all. Very well done to actually move that far. The worry though now is there's an ELC 790 within his view range over on the ramp, and there might be enemy tanks up on the lookout at F7. We don't know. There's a Basotto was seen there and a Progetto 46. So he's taking a bit of a risk doing what he's doing at the moment, because he might get spotted by the Vipera if he's not careful. We can see trees going down in the distance, and there's the ELC. I guess that when he moved through the open there, the ELC couldn't see him, probably because he didn't have any of his viewports looking directly in this direction at that particular moment. You actually have to have a line of sight of the tank that you're spotting. If there's an obstruction, such as a bank or a depression in the way, you won't spot them. There's a Progetto over there, the auto reloader, 90mm gun. Same 90mm, well, it's not exactly the same gun as on this, but same caliber as on this little light tank. But of course, the Progetto with that 3-shot auto reloader can actually do a lot more damage very quickly. And he needs to watch out that he doesn't attract that sort of attention. Okay. This is taking a bit of a risk. He's trying to spot the enemy tanks around the corner. He's found two, the SMVCC and an SU-122 44, but he did get spotted. He managed to make it into the dip. You really don't want to do that when you've got such a light hull, and there's the Arty coming in, but luckily the Arty is actually coming in for the Vipera, not for Picklefish, because if Picklefish got hit by an Arty round, it would be lethal, because they would penetrate. He's got such thin armor, there's no doubt about it, they go straight through. And that's why, if you're an Arty player, you should definitely consider shooting at a Hawk 12, because more than likely you'll get a full pen. Oh, he did get spotted by the SU-122 44 there. Ow! And again. The Progetto definitely saw him. But luckily, the SU-122-44 just got taken out by our M12. So at least our Arty is doing his job. That SMVCC is also down to his last few hit points. And it could be the Vipera will put him out of the game. Ooh. Cat Panzer 07. And unfortunately, with that slow shell velocity, he wasn't able to get a hit. Again, he's getting very close. And oh, that's good news. The SMV CC-56 just got wiped out by the Vipera. And now we've got a 2-tank advantage on the enemy. We can see the T-28 HMC because he's just on that ridge line over above the lake, but he's actually being spotted by the enemy. There's a Rudy and a guard right up on top of the hill, and they can see him because he's just outside our view range. Well, the Progetto is still there, but look at the ranges, the range rings. He's actually keeping him just inside the range rings to spot him, and just outside the Progetto's range ring, so he can't do any damage back. Now, he can't fire at the Progetto at the moment. If he does, he gets spotted, but he's getting the spotting assist. Oh, look at that. He's gone up to 4.2k of damage. Spotted. And now he's spotting a Nashorn. Another nice, juicy target for our Arty. We're now 3 up on the enemy. They've only got 5 left, including 2 Arty. And the Nashorn just got hit. One of the Arty just smacked him. He's trying to get as close as he can, as close as he dare. It's a good job that Progetto was taken out. He wouldn't have been able to get so close otherwise. But the T-28 HTC is just inside spotting range now. He could take a swipe at this guy. But if he did, he might get spotted. You can see the Nashorn. T-28's gone down. The guard got him from on top of the hill. And he's getting closer and closer to this Nashorn. He might try and get him himself. Well, that's one of the Artys just managed to get some assists there. And we've now got one of the enemy Arty in sight. The M44. One shot. And the kill shot comes in from the Vipera. So he's out of the game. The Nashorn's gone. Our M44 got him. It's a very good game for our Arty because they certainly were getting a lot of spotting. And we've got the GW Panther in sight. One of the last 2. Gets one shot through the gun shield and he gets taken out by the guard on top of the hill again. That guy's got benefit from Picklefish's spotting. There's only one enemy left. It's the ILC 790, and unfortunately he just killed our AMBT and he's round near our cap area. That's not so good news. Remember, that guy's got a 90mm gun. Same as Picklefish, but the thing is that the 90mm is an auto-loader with 3 shots in the mag, so he can pump out 3 rounds fairly quickly. Whereas Picklefish, well, his reload time by the book is 7.54. He's got it to 7.6 at the moment. He's going to try and get as close as he can to see if he can spot the ELC. The ELC just took out our M44, so obviously he is over near the forest. There he is. He's just coming back from the forest now. And we did get spotted, so we need to get to cover. Remember, thin armor. Don't want to take 3 shots. We're down to half our hit points. We did take 3 shots. He'd be out the game. That's the M12 trying to get even. There he is again. Where is he? Ow! Bit tunnel vision there, and he had to back up. Did take 1 round from the ELC, but luckily it was only 212. There he is. Now, auto aiming's not so good, but he might be able to get a hit. Yes, he does! And a ram kill by the Rudy to win the game. And that worked out very nicely for Picklefish. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for Picklefish44 in the Hawk 12. He also managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage, a patrol duty for being the only one spotting 6 enemy tanks whilst they were damaged. And on top of that, he got a scout medal for being the first one to detect 9 enemy vehicles. And that's what we call the Holy Trinity with an ace tanker. Yes, getting the spotter, patrol duty, and the scout means you were doing your job very effectively as a light tank to enable your team to get damage on the enemy. And it's even nicer when you get the ace tanker with it as well. Well done to Picklefish44. His win rate wasn't that high, but that doesn't reflect, of course, the fact that he was spotting for his team because, of course, win rate does not include spotting damage. 1,573 was the win rate, but you'll see some differences when we get to the team score. Okay, the highest damage in the game turned out to be the Viper on our team, the guy who was on that corner. He got a high caliber for 2,865 hit points. Second highest damage was the guard who was getting all those kills from the hill. He was getting a tank sniper for 2,622 hit points, again from Picklefish's spotting. And when third place was the Progetto46 on the enemy team, the guy who actually fired at Picklefish and got 2 shots in, he got 2,466 hit points. Picklefish only got 1,030 hit points of damage, and his last shot into that ELC was quite lucky considering the fact that he's got rather a slow shell velocity. You need to get close to get an auto-aim shot into the target with such a slow shell velocity, otherwise you'll miss the target altogether. But he did manage to get one in because the ELC 790 turned until he was actually running away from Picklefish at that point, and then obviously the shell would just go straight up his rear, and it did. And a nice shot it was. When it came to kills, well, the highest one was the ELC 790 on the enemy team. He got 5 kills in that game, and he picked up a patrol duty of his own for the enemy team. 3 kills went to the Viper, the guard, and the AMBT on his own team, and to the Progetto46 on the enemy team. I'm afraid Picklefish didn't get any kills at all in the game, but he did get the satisfaction of getting some damage into the enemy Arty right at the end of the game. When it came to base XP, though, he was right at the top of the table, and that's down to the fact that he was doing the spotting that was enabling his teammates to get the damage. 1,307 went to Picklefish. He was the only one to get over 1,000. The next highest being the Viper, who got 898, and the second and the third place person was the ELC 790 of the enemy team with 848, because he did very well as well. He fired 7 rounds in that game, got 4 direct hits on the enemy and 4 penetrations. 1,030 hit points of damage, of which 240 were at more than 300 meters, the rest of it at close range. 3 hits received. Unfortunately, all 3 were penetrations. 2 of those came from the Progetto, and you actually saw that virtually all of them went through the gun mantlets, including the one from the Progetto at the ELC 790 right at the end of the game, because that's all the Progetto, the ELC could see, because he was trying to shoot over the ridgeline. And yes, he saw that turret and thought, I'll put the shell in there, and it made another hole right in the mantlet. So 3 penetrations, unfortunately. 9 enemy vehicles spotted, so that got him the scout medal. 4 enemy vehicles were damaged, no kills though, but 5,728 hit points of spotting assist in the game, and of course that earned him the patrol duty and the scout medal. On a premium count, he earned 51,455 credits from the game, 25,727 from personal reserve bonus, and 77,182 credits altogether. After repair, ammunition, resupply, and remember, he didn't fire that many premium rounds, but he did fire premium rounds, so he actually came away with 52,421 credits profit. 1,960 XP for the game, times 2 for the first victory, 980 from personal reserves, took away 4,901 experience points altogether. But I guess the best thing about this is that you can see that Picklefish is learning how to play the Hawk 12 to its best abilities. It's not an easy tank to play with that slow shell velocity. You're not really very good as a sniper. All you can do is spot for your team. And remember, you've got to take into account, this is quite a tall vehicle with no armor. So if you do get spotted, you're more than likely going to get taken out. So you have to play very, very stealthy and find a good bush to hide in and then spot the enemy and let your teammates do all the work for you. In this case, Picklefish did get his team to work for him, and they did very nicely indeed out of him. you can see that the M44 managed to get 431 hit points of damage. The M12 got 954 hit points of damage, and most of that spotting was down to Picklefish. I will also say that his teammates actually further up the table. The guard got 2,622, and a lot of that was down to Picklefish as well, because although he was spotting for himself on that T28, it was Picklefish who was spotting for the Progetto and also some of the other tanks. So nice work on the spotting, and it's always nice to have a good player with a light tank who knows where to find the enemy, because if an Arty player can see the enemy, he can take them out, and that means the light tank benefits as well, and the whole team does. You can see the amount of damage he was doing. Look at all that spotting there. Beautiful. That's exactly what we like to see. And in fact, it's so much, you have to scroll the page to see all the spotting he did. Very, very nice indeed. If you enjoyed that replay or pair of replays, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.